You don't actually lose control of your emotions. Your brain takes it from you, and by the time you realize it, the damage is already done. Think of those moments when you say something that you regret, or react too fast, or just feel overwhelmed for no reason. That's not weakness. That's neuroscience. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what's happening inside your brain when emotions takes over, and more importantly, how to take that control back. I'm going to break down the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, and the critical gap between stimulus and response, because that gap determines everything, whether you stay in control or lose it. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 practical neuroscience-backed techniques that you can start using immediately to regulate your emotions. Let's get into it. First, you need to understand this. Your brain is not designed for control. It's designed for your survival, right? At the center of your emotional reaction, there is a small structure called the amygdala. Think of it as, your brain's alarm system. Its job is simple: to detect threat and respond instantly. The problem is, it doesn't care whether the threat is real or just perceived. According to Joseph Ledoux, one of the neuroscientists, in his research, he found out that the brain has what's called a low road, which is a fast pathway that bypasses conscious thinking completely, right? Which means by the time you feel the emotion, your brain has already acted, okay? That's why, someone can say one thing and suddenly, you get angry or anxious, or even you become defensive, okay? This is not because you choose to react. That's because your brain reacted for you. This is also one of the things that Daniel Goleman, one of the neuroscientists as well, calls an amygdala hijack. This is when your emotional brain overrides your rational brain, okay? In that moment, your body is flooded, with stress hormones like cortisol. You might notice your heart rate increase, your breathing changes, and more importantly, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and decision making and self-control, start to shut down completely. I'll say that again. Your brain literally reduces your ability to think clearly when emotions arises, which means you are not reacting to reality. You are reacting to what your brain think is happening, okay? This is why telling yourself, just to calm down doesn't work, because in that moment, the part of your brain that can calm you down isn't fully online. It's totally offline. It's totally shut down. Stress weakens the prefrontal cortex, which is the exact system responsible for control. So when pressure arises, okay, logic drops and emotion takes over. So the question becomes, if you cannot rely on logic in that moment, how do you regain control? Here's where things changes. Because emotional control is not about suppressing emotion. It's actually about managing the system that creates it, okay? So here's the technique that I'm going to share with you now. Technique number 1, create the gap. Control starts with one thing: space, okay? When you feel an emotional reaction rising, you need to pause, even if it's just for a few seconds, right? The technique that I teach most of my clients is the box breathing technique, which is simply you breathe slowly, you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds, and continue the flow. You can do it for 4 rounds. I recommend 4 rounds. It's more, effective in that way. What I've noticed with most of my clients. What this does, it gives your prefrontal cortex time to come back online, because that pause is where control lives. So the second technique is this: to name what you're feeling, not avoiding it. We're not suppressing anything, but just label it clearly. If you feel angry, you can say it in your head: I'm angry, or I feel disrespected, or I'm anxious. This might sound, very easy and simple, but it's very powerful. Because the moment you label an emotion, you activate your rational brain instantly. When that happens, the intensity of the emotion decreases massively. The technique number 3, reframe the meaning. Here is something most people never realize. Your emotions don't come from events. They come from your interpretation of those events. Two people can experience the same situation and feel completely different emotions. Why is that? Because they assign different meanings. So instead of asking, what happened? Just reframe it to, what does this means to me? Okay? And then challenge it. Maybe the people that you think they ignore you, they didn't ignore you. Maybe they were just busy, or that rejection, it wasn't rejection. Maybe they were just, the timing wasn't right. Okay? So change those meanings, and it's just that simple step, and it's very powerful. It changes the emotion around it completely, right? Now here's the truth. You don't become emotionally controlled overnight. This is training. You have to train. Every time you pause, every time you label, every time you reframe, you are rewiring your brain. This is called neuroplasticity. And according to the American Psychological Association, emotional regulation improves with consistent practice, which means the more you practice control, the easier it becomes, okay? You don't need to eliminate emotions. You need to master them, because the moment you control your emotions is the moment you take control of your life. So if you're really serious about building mental toughness, please make sure to subscribe, because I publish video every week on how you can strengthen your mind and how you can become mentally unstoppable. You can check out my book, Mental Toughness, Unbreakable Mind, in the description below. You can get it if you want to get even more deeper on this concept. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.